Club of Louisville. I'm Harper Sexton Smith. I'm the club president-elect. I'm also chair of the Strategic Planning Committee, chair of the Nominating Committee, and vice chair of the Rotary Fund Board, and a Paul Harris Fellow +8. President Ken, thank you very much. President Ken is he's AWOL today. He is in Bowling Green because he has accepted a new role, another volunteer role as chair of the Kentucky Broadcasters Association. And he is presiding over the meeting in Western Kentucky while we all take care of Louisville, Kentucky. So please silence your cell phones, if you will. And providing our invocation today is going to be Michelle Black-White, Executive Director of Brightside Foundation, Inc. and Rotary Fund Board Director. Michelle?
As we gather today in the spirit of Rotary and fellowship, let's raise our hearts and our glasses, or maybe our cans, in the weeks ahead. May our time together be the bee's knees, sweetened by kindness, stirred with laughter, and crafted with care. In the words of Helen Keller, keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see a shadow. Let optimism and good spirits lift us, making this room brighter with every smile and connection. Like a classic gimlet, may our intentions be sharp and clear, to serve, to unite, and to act with integrity. A good cocktail is the result of good spirits and even better company. And may we continue to be both for each other and our community. And may we always remember, as we chase new horizons, much like a greyhound speeding ahead, that goodwill and better friendships are best when shared with friends old and new. Here's to uniting for good and spreading good spirits as we enter into this holiday season. Cheers.
Now to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test is Adam Watson, Director of Education and Canopy Certified. Adam?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, thank you, Adam. All right, now, Rotarians, if you have a guest with you today, please come up to the microphone. It is to your right in the room, over here to my left, and introduce yourself first. Please introduce yourself first, and then introduce your guest or your plural guest. Now, when you introduce your guest, I have a new script up here that was delivered to me at 1 a.m. this morning. Thank you all. My instructions, Rick, you're first up, okay? It says that you are to introduce your guest by telling their name and their role and their organization. All right? And then guests, when you hear that, please stand up. All right, Rick?
Thanks so much, President-elect Barker. My name is Rick Carnage, longtime Rotarian, retired from any kind of commercial activity. But my guest today is Sarah Bushman, new to Louisville in the role of Development Director for Kentucky Opera. Yes.
How did Rick do? Round of applause for Rick. Thank you, Rick. That was perfect. All right. Now, continuing in our tradition under President Ken's reign as our president, recognizing newer members at our meetings, if you have joined our club or rejoined this club or transferred into this club during the last 12 months, would y'all just please stand up for just a minute? Come on, let's go. Yeah. And if you are one of the folks that were not standing, it is our responsibility then to say something to those that just stood up and talk a little bit about your experience in Rotary. Some of you have been in Rotary for many years, after the meeting, that is. All right, here we go. And now, we also started another new tradition under President Ken, and that is to hear more from our longer time serving Rotarians. Because some folks have been in this, is this your first meeting, ma'am? Okay, so I'm inviting to the podium right now one of our longtime serving, very wonderful Rotarians, Hewlin Farr, to share her story. Hewlin?
So, worse than Barbara, I didn't sit down to write this until 9 o'clock this morning. I got my teach here. But so, for those of you who know, my name is Hewlin Farr. Oh, sorry. You know my name is Hewlin Farr. Does that make any sense to you? When you think of Huey and Carolyn, so that's Hewlin. Clever parents made that one up. So then along with me, well, we were born in New Orleans. My sister was there too, and I don't know if that's an influence, but my sister, little sister comes along, and her name is Lynette. We all know Lynette. Oh, okay, yes. Ooh. Okay, so the name Lynette, for her, it's Lesla, L-E, Janet, N-E-T. So we both have gone through life with this curse. But our hobby, I would say the biggest thing about my family is our hobby was travel. And my dad, once we were old enough, we had to go take our vacations. And so, as he liked to say, that, it's time to get the Chevrolet and get on USA and see it all. So we did. Our tent and our camp stove was in the trunk of the Chevrolet, and whenever he could put together enough days to get away from work, we'd go someplace. So by the time I was getting ready to start my senior year in high school, we'd been to 48 states. So it was really cool. The last trip, he got 6 weeks. We went up to, that was our Alaska trip. And what did we all do between our senior and our junior and our senior year? We took the ACT, right? So I got to take my ACT at University of Alaska, Fairbanks. And as soon as the test was done, I ran to find a payphone, and called my boyfriend without my parents knowing. But then I ended up with a boyfriend originally, after all, with Ron in college. And we both, in addition to getting an accounting degree, he helped me ditch my last name. So which I haven't given you that one yet. So my last name, my maiden name was Haverhorst. So it was Hewlin Haverhorst, but in grade school known as Hey Big Horse. So it was like, for me, it was a no-brainer. I'm sorry, ditching that one and took Farr. Hewlin Farr was much better. So I entered corporate accounting, and Ron was also accounting, so he went to CPA. CPA route, I went to the corporate route, and then after taking a few years off, I stayed out and then came back in, and at that point I entered banking, and I enjoyed corporate accounting better, but we were living in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and there really wasn't anything like corporate accounting there. So I went into banking, and I had one large customer that was a group of hotels, and I enjoyed working with them. And then I got an offer from a hotel group to come with them. So I was very happy to take that role on. And what was great about that, I was the vice president of finance, which I was always happy to go out and look for money to buy hotels and facilitate the sale of them. Well, the nice thing was this was a really conservative company, and so everybody was ready to do business with me. I didn't have to work that hard, although at that point I was a female, and that was at that point a strike against me, or more than just one. But so we started off with 32 Class BC hotels, and by the time I left, we had 74 Class A and Bs. They really did great, and then they were going to go public. And by that time, we had moved here. Everybody's having to relocate to Austin. Didn't do that. That's when I said, okay, I'm ready to semi-retire. But we were here then, and I did do some contract work for downtown Louisville. That I did enjoy that. So, but then that we entered more the volunteer part of my life. And when we were here the first time, and I haven't told you that, I guess I should tell you that. We went to school in Springfield and moved to Kansas City, which is Ron's home. But then from there, we lived in Denver, then Sioux Falls, then here. We left here after 4 years, went to Milwaukee for 6 years, and came back. So it's kind of, we had a lot of transitions, but they were all wonderful. But so, when we were here, I was with Center for Women and Families, and the last year I left, I was chair of the board, and I don't know if somebody can remember, but the roof fell in. Yeah, that was 2 weeks after I left. So I missed that excitement, but when we got to Milwaukee, first thing I did was get involved there with their center. And then I also have been extremely involved with Louisville League of Women Voters, League of Women Voters in Milwaukee also. So that's, my dad was a Rotarian, my sister is a Rotarian, and her resume is quite long, but she's now, well, she was assistant governor in Kansas. She was with the India National Polio Immunization Day. You probably know more about that. And now, the E-clubs, she chairs an E-club. So, yeah, I'm working on getting our son in California to be a Rotarian and our daughter in Cincinnati. So this wasn't scripted, but this is a really good day to take like another minute. Wait, no. You can clap soon. Okay. But my dad and my dad and my sister and my mom, we were all close, not much fighting. I had one fight with my dad. I was about 32. We were living in Denver and they were there visiting. And he tells me that his Rotary group is voting to let women in. And no, he was going to have no part of that. And that got me riled up, So I just said, Dad, but that's crazy, you're nuts. I said, you've got 2 daughters, how can you say that? And he says, nope. I said, Dad, Mike Mavakis is in your group. I went to high school with him. You go to him for your law, whatever you need with law. There's this other girl, boy, Carrie, from my school. You go to him for something else. If that was me, I would not have the opportunity. You paid for me to go to college, and I'm not going to get the opportunity to make the money other people will. He's like, I'm not voting for it. So 3 years later, he voted. He called me and he said, I didn't vote for it. Or I voted for it, but I told him I was going to leave. But this is a great day. There's a lot going on. Here, men and women, and this. With that,
All right, thank you, and you never know when you're going to get a call from one of the officers or from Deline that's going to ask you to come up and spend 2 minutes and tell your story about what you've been doing with Rotary. So I did not know she was going to mention her father and his vote no, then vote yes, or however it turned out. All I know is I'm all female and I'm standing up here in charge today. Thank y'all very much. Speaking of allowing members and then electing officers, now's the time for all of us active members to elect our officers and directors for the coming 26-27 Rotary year. You should have received an email from me yesterday at some point mentioning this and listing the slate of officers and candidates that we are asking you to use that link to cast your electronic ballot because voting is going to stay open until noon on December 3rd. And on December 3rd in the evening, starting at 6:30, we're going to have an official short business meeting at the annual holiday event at Hirschburn Country Club. Doors will open at 5:30, but y'all, we're going to have that ring the bell moment if President Ken shows up at that meeting. Yes, I love to tease him about being AWOL. So I need all the candidates who are on the slate this year to come up and join me. We've all been over this, and I have told them that they get 60 seconds on the microphone each. That's right. And I've got the timer, and I'll take all the assistant timers. Maggie, if you want to help me. Okay. Maggie Harlow, I'll make a unscripted motion to have Maggie the temporary sergeant at arms for the next 8 minutes? Okay, everybody seconded that. Okay, I did tell you that, right? 60 seconds. Craig Mooney on the candidate slate for president-elect.
Thank you, Barbara. That's a lot of pressure. 60 seconds. I'm going to try to talk fast. So, I'm truly honored to be nominated as president of the club. Why did I get involved with Rotary? Well, it's the amazing speakers that we bring in week after week after week. I've been a member since 2018, and the volunteer opportunities that are available to the members. I'm currently serving in the second year as my role as treasurer of the board, and I'm in my 4th year leading the Rotary Honor Scholarship Program at both Western and Iroquois High School. And I just love being a member of this club. Look around the room. We've got a very diverse group. We've got older members. We've got younger members. We've got individuals that live in all parts of the city. We've got U of L fans. Unfortunately, we've got a few UK fans, but that's okay. We've got Italian fans, Mann fans, and we all come together in a common goal because of service above self. And it brings us together, bonds us, unites us. And we do great things for the club. This is a great club. I'm proud to be a member, and I hope you're proud to be a member too. Thank you.
1 minute and 4 seconds. The challenge is on. Chris Burek, jump on up here. Here we go. 60 seconds.
Thank you. Hi. My bio is in the email, so I hope that you scanned that. It talks about my Rotary involvement. But for me, I've been accused that I ask too many questions. I started my career as a journalist, so I was paid to do it. I think it's a habit I just never dropped. But I think it's important. I think it's important to sit at these tables and ask questions to gather opinions. I think it's important to sit in a boardroom and ask questions to make sure we're making the right decisions. Decisions aren't made in a silo. They're made with different people, different opinions, different backgrounds, diversity, different fandoms. It's fine. But it takes all kinds. And differences of opinion aren't necessarily difference of priorities or of principle. And it's those principles of Rotary that brought us all here, and it's what keeps us here. And I'm very honored to be able to have the chance to uphold the principles of Rotary for the Louisville Rotary Club as a board member. So thank you for your time, your support, your vote. And I look forward to further conversations about the future of Rotary.
That was 1 minute and 1 second. The pressure's on Mackenzie. Chris is up on the slate for a 2-year term as an at-large director. And here we go with Mackenzie as a 2-year term for a director.
All right, thanks. My name is Mackenzie White. I had to bring my notes because I live by my calendar, my notes, I didn't want to forget anything. So, last time I thought about how do I solicit votes, I was in high school, SGA. I think I promised everybody Fridays off and soft drinks in the break room. Well, as a board member, I cannot promise you 3-day weekends, and I cannot promise you beer in your break rooms. But why did I choose Rotary? So I was thinking, professionally, here I am. I'm a VP, relationship manager at PNC. Personally, married to my husband, Alex White. We've got 2 kids, 13 and 12. Pray for me as I make high school decisions, and it's really important here in Louisville. But I was introduced to Rotary in 2023, and my journey has been a deeply meaningful sense. So from the various committees that I've served on, right now I'm chair of the Social Activities Committee, trying to put together your annual holiday party, quick plug, buy your tickets, send your DJ request. I've also had some very meaningful friendships that I've developed through here that just bring you a joy, satisfaction of service, and the belief in community. So let's see, real quick. I want to give back by serving in this position. I hope to bring a new face, a fresh voice, so we can continue to grow the diversity and energy of our membership and strengthen our impact, ensure that we remain the 13th largest organization in all of Rotary.
Country and 12th largest in the world, but it said 1 minute and 13 seconds, and when she looked down at that, because I'm up here, I got you, girl. Okay, all right. Next up on the slate for a 2-year term as an at-large director is Dr. Swanee Jett. You got 1 minute.
Well, first of all, anytime this young lady talks, I'm always going to say yes, and it's an honor. I have dedicated my life to selfless service and give it back to the community, and that's what we do. And that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That was 12 seconds. Now, this does not mean you get an extra 48 seconds. No. Okay. So, Rotarians and guests coming up for a 2-year at-large board of director for the Rotary Club of Louisville is Nick Garner. Nick.
Hello everyone, my name is Nick Garner. I'm a lead software developer in the AI and computer-human interaction department at the MITRE Corporation. I have done a lot of organizing work in my private time, coming before my joining Rotary. I have to say it is an extraordinary relief and energizing force in my life to be part of an organization where service above self is the guiding principle. In my term as board member, it is my hope that I will be able to help facilitate bringing that principle outwards to the city to greater and greater constituencies, and that's going to be my aim in this 2-year term. Thank you.
Pastor Brown, the pressure's on, buddy. That was 40 seconds and 40.79 seconds. All right, now up to the podium comes, as on the our DEI chair, who will receive a seat on the Rotary Board of Directors, is Renee Brown. 1 minute.
I need you to turn your Bibles to page. My name is Renee Brown, and I'm excited to be back in Louisville and back to Rotary. I joined the Rotary back in 2014. A good friend of mine, Randy Coe, was the one that led me here. And one of the reasons why I want to be the DEI of the diversity, equity, and inclusion is based on our 4-way test. Is it beneficial? Is it fair to all concerned? And I believe that if we can make it beneficial to all concerned, if we can make it fair to all concerned, that we can lead like we are all concerned. Thank you.
Okay, all right, so that was 42 seconds. So Maggie Harlow, and then I noticed Rick Harnett was up here with the backup third telephone. Y'all did a great job keeping us on time. All right, so as I mentioned, on December 3rd at the annual holiday party, we're also going to have that very quick 6:30 p.m. special business meeting. That serves as our annual meeting where we announce the results of the election. We also will have other official business. We will also be announcing at the annual meeting. There has been a proposed bylaw amendment for the Rotary Fund Board. And one of the best darn presidents this club has ever had. Last year, Lori Flannery, Lori, stand up so everybody knows who you are. Lori serves as our immediate past president. In that role of capacity, then she chairs the Rotary Fund Board. And the Rotary Fund Board has recently proposed some amendments. So the full active membership needs to vote by an electronic vote. You should have received an email from Lori for that vote. So we hope that you all will pay very close attention to my email and use electronic vote for the board and the officers, and Lori's email. Both came yesterday. All right? Now, we're there. Hey, Maggie Harlow, I want you to come on down, and she's going to introduce this week's speaker. And I don't know what that bottoms up comment meant last week, but from GYN to GIN, introduce our speaker. Give a big warm welcome to Maggie Harlow.
Barbara, you got me on the timer, I hope. Hello, Rotarians. It's great to be here, and of course I'm thrilled to be here with my friend Dr. Danielle Mann. Let me begin this introduction of Danielle with a quick story, because as you know, great connections in Louisville always seem to start with a little bit of serendipity and a lot of heart. I first met Danielle through a trusted mutual friend who pulled me aside and said, "You've got to meet Danielle Mann. She needs a network of business owners. And trust me, you're going to like her a lot." And wow, that was an understatement. From our very first chat, Danielle's energy was absolutely contagious. Not just sparkly, magnetic. She was raised right here in Louisville. She carved her early path in science at Ballard High and Indiana University, go Hoosiers, and then wandered off to Chicago chasing big dreams and exploring as much as she could. She taste-tested life, trying out things like microbiology, waitressing, and years of avid wandering travels. But as fate would have it, nothing could keep Danielle from her original calling, and soon she found herself earning a medical degree as an OBGYN. Of course, life threw her a few delightful curveballs, 3 rambunctious boys, a move back home just in time for the pandemic to deliver an unexpected plot twist. Quarantined, Danielle found herself crafting cocktails in her kitchen, and like any born explorer, dove deeply into the world of gin. Her curiosity and high standards quickly revealed a gap in the market. Where are the delicious, all-natural gin cocktails she craved? Not one to settle, and certainly not one to sit still, Danielle launched Rivergreen Cocktails, handcrafted right here in Louisville. She secured her license, started production on River Road, and soon her creation was a hit across Kentucky and Ohio. While she is a remarkable adventurer, she is pragmatic too, retaining a safety net of hospital work as she continues to build this dream. Danielle's story is proof that talent, grit, and an uncontainable personality can ignite a dream. But let's not forget the secret ingredient, the extraordinary community here in Louisville. This is a city where connectors are everywhere, especially here in this room, where advice, introductions, support, and a ready network make the impossible suddenly possible. Danielle's success belongs to all of us, the community of doers, dreamers, and helpers who believe that rooting for one another is the way we grow. Louisville would not be the same without Danielle, and her story wouldn't be possible without Louisville. So let's give a warm Rotary welcome to a hometown innovator, a passionate leader, and my gal pal, the founder of Rivergreen Cocktails, Danielle Mann.
Any questions? Because I feel like she just did it for me. Thank you, Maggie. And thank you for having me here today. This is one of the reasons that I have just loved this adventure. I would have never thought 4 years ago that I would be standing up in front of all of you all talking about my journey. It's been very unexpected. I like to joke that I accidentally started a business because that was not my intention, you all, at all. I was very happy being an OBGYN. I had no problems at all raising 3 children and being an OBGYN. It was a very busy life. I do think that COVID threw a lot of us for an unexpected loop, and I had never had that much free time in a very, very long time. And after I had done the garden and cleaned out all the closets, and then I found myself, no joke, scrubbing my garage floor. I was like, I started making cocktails, and it's truth be told. And I'll tell you, I've never had gin before. Somebody introduced me to gin that summer, and I became enamored with gin. Not just the taste, but the story of gin. I am by nature a researcher, and I like studying, and I started studying gin. It just went down a rabbit hole, and I became very enamored with the history of gin, the stories of gin. It has a very historical past, and it's kind of a dirty, somewhat sexy history as well. I mean, it's a Prohibition-era cocktail, and I was seeing all these beautiful classic cocktails, and I started making them in my kitchen. And I've never made cocktails, but I thought I was doing a damn good job of it. And I started serving them to my friends who came over, and they thought they were good too. And this led me into the ready-to-drink market. I had never had a drink out of a can before, and honestly, y'all, I had zero desire. That sounded unappealing to me, but I started studying the trends that were going on at that time, and I was seeing that all the malt-based ready-to-drink cocktails were taking a dip down, and that the spirit ones were rising. And then when I went to the liquor store, I saw there were no gin-based canned cocktails. And so that led me to think, well, why is that? Does nobody like gin? Well, some people don't like gin. I've learned that from many people. But some people had a really bad experience with gin in high school with the grandfather of gin. I'm trying to change that narrative, one customer at a time. But I was seeing that the trends in gin were very interesting, especially on the East and West Coast, that gin was becoming more of a favorable cocktail. And if you go to a restaurant nowadays, even here in Louisville, Kentucky, you'd be far pressed to not find gin cocktails on the menu. And so I was betting on gin. I'm still betting on gin. I think it's a beautiful spirit. During the COVID pandemic, it was actually the #1 spirit that was bought because people were actually at the time to make cocktails in their kitchen, like me. So that's what happened, y'all. I was like, bam, I have this idea. I should help the people out, and I should make a canned cocktail that tastes better than any of the canned cocktails that I tried. Because obviously in the name of research, I started drinking canned cocktails, and I thought they were horrendous. I mean, I really did. I thought that they tasted artificial. I thought they tasted very sweet, artificial, kind of metallic taste to me, and I guess I'm confident enough that I was like, I think I could do better. And so I started searching for a way to get my kitchen cocktails into a can. And that's when I discovered that there's a 3-tier system. And I don't know if you all understand that there's a 3-tier system, but I had no idea that there was a 3-tier system. I thought I could go into a liquor store and say, I have a great idea, would you buy it? No, you can't do that. So you have to get a distributor to accept you, and then the distributor then sells to liquor stores, grocery stores, bars, restaurants, etc. So that was my plan. I was going to try to find a distributor. Problem with finding a distributor, you actually have to have a product that you give to the distributor to see if they'll accept you. And I was like, it's one of those things too where if you have a certain personality where you're like, okay, you tell me I can't do it, okay, I'm gonna do it. And that's just kind of my personality, and I had time because it was COVID. And so when I started researching and trying to find somebody to make the product for me, I ran into a lot of red tape. Nobody would do it on a small scale. They're like, yeah, we'll do it for you, but we will do 50,000 cans for you, and that'll be the minimum order quantity for each flavor. So I said, okay, so I'm gonna have 150,000 cans. What if nobody likes them and nobody picks me up? Then it's gonna be party at Danielle's house for the next 10 years. So I also got a lot of pushback on my natural ingredients. One of the things that I was really passionate about early on was making them all natural. I didn't like the way that the other ones tasted, and I wanted a clean cocktail, a better for you cocktail. And so all of my cocktails are still that. They're all made with real juices, real sweeteners, gin, sparkling water, that's it. They're all at a 12% ABV, alcohol by volume, which some people might find that a little high. I like a higher ABV cocktail, but also I'll tell you, 12% is a sweet spot. That's what keeps it shelf stable, and that's what makes it antimicrobial. And so I don't have to add any pasteurization, I don't have to add anything artificial to keep it shelf stable. So there was really some science behind it. And so when I couldn't get anybody to make it for me at a cost that seemed reasonable, because it just seemed too risky for me, I thought what made perfect sense was for me to get my liquor license and to rent a facility, and I bought some small equipment, and I made them myself. And I instantly got picked up by a distributor. And since that time, I've continued to make them myself. I like the self-manufacturing portion of it. There's nothing that goes into those cans that I don't know. And we've been steadily growing. I got on my first liquor store shelf in May 2021. It was slow growing that year. We sold about 300 cases. And this year we're slated to sell about 15,000. I'm proud of that. When I say it out loud, I'm like, okay. But I wasn't quite sure what I was getting myself into. When I signed the 3-year lease for the facility, I was like, oh wow, I think I'm actually starting a business here. And it took me a while to kind of get things going. And there came a point, just leading into how I met Maggie and many other people in this room, that I was kind of doing it by myself, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I still really don't know what I'm doing, but I was starting to realize that there was a real networking piece that was missing. And I got hooked up with Larry Horn at Amplify, if anybody knows Larry. And before I knew it, Larry introduced me to 5 people. And those 5 people introduced me to 5 more people. Those 5 people introduced me to another 5 people. Y'all, I was literally drinking like 5 coffees a day with people at Quills on Main Street, which is where I want to be. But what was amazing to me was how kind everyone was to me. The network of people that I have met in Louisville have been so supportive of my journey, when I have a problem, they're like, wait, I might not be able to solve that problem, but I know somebody else who can. And really, even seeing the people in this room, I'm like going, wow, I know a lot of you all in this room, and that is crazy to me, you all, because 4 years ago, I was practicing medicine and raising children, and I didn't know any of y'all. And in fact, I didn't know that many people in general in Louisville. And so I'm very grateful for the community in Louisville. It's why I'm very committed to keeping manufacturing going in Louisville, even as we grow. We're in Kentucky and Ohio now, and looking to bounce into a couple other states next year. But I'll always keep a facility here. I think that there is something that is really fun about having a manufacturing facility here and being able to hire people and being able to give back to the community here. And so thank you for supporting me. I always get asked, are you still practicing medicine? And yes, I am. I quit my private practice 2.5 years ago, which felt enormous at the time, since I had spent so much of my life wanting to be a doctor and then practicing. And medicine is safe, and I've always loved medicine for its safety. Being a business owner is so not safe. It is just incredibly different than being a doctor. And so, but I quit my private practice, and I have been doing laborist work. I do 7 24-hour shifts a month in Lexington, Kentucky at St. Joe East. But I'm actually changing that job too. I really like small little community hospitals. That's my passion, and if you all don't even know, probably you don't, this is my world, but there's a lot of small communities that are suffering with having medical care in the state of Kentucky. I get calls all the time. In fact, tomorrow I'll be going to Winchester, Kentucky to help. They just had 3 of their docs leave their OBGYN unit, so they don't have any docs in their entire hospital, and so I'll be there for 2 weeks to help support them. So it'll be doctor by day, Rivergreen by night. And but that's my path now, and I'm really enjoying it. And so I've been able to make it work with the doctor thing and the entrepreneur thing, and I'm gonna roll this way for a while because I still need my safety net just a little bit as I'm growing this business. But I'm happy to take any questions if you have them. I appreciate you all listening to me, and cheers. Oh, don't let me forget, I brought cocktails. I have our Greyhound, which is Rio Red grapefruit juice, gin, sparkling water. It's the tartest of the flavors, and there's no sweetener. I have our Gimlet, which is lime juice, organic cane sugar, gin, sparkling water. And then I have our Bee's Knees, which is lemon juice, real honey, gin, sparkling water.
Wow.
All right, from one doctor to another, you've got to love his style. He wasn't going to pass trading those business cards. They've already cut a deal. I love that. Come to Rotary, where good people meet and all things happen. All right, fellow Rotarians, please come up to the microphone. Let's have a conversation with Dr. Mann, Danielle. Doc by day, businesswoman by night, gin by night, that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Doc by day, gin by night. Okay, so, Chris, pressure is on because we have Where's the rules on the screen? The script says there's rules on the screen somewhere. So this is no speeches, it's no commentary, it's not your favorite movie. It is a question for Danielle, who's going to monopolize this microphone. All right, here you go.
Yeah, and it's only one question, which I wasn't kidding. I actually have 3, but I'll go to the back of the line. So with the gin, how does that partnership work? What type of gin do you use, and do you just buy it and mix it in, or do you have a partnership with a gin company where that's a symbiotic thing? Like, how does that work?
Great question. Right now, I have a proprietary gin that's made for me by Middle West Spirits. They're based out of Columbus, Ohio. And yes, it's a partnership, but it's gin that's specifically made for my cocktails.
Cliff Elgin. Danielle, last time we talked, you were in Kroger Liquors and Total Wines. Have you expanded to any other outlets?
So we are now in, which Kroger is my biggest account. That felt like a huge win. We're in 227 Krogers now. And I just got Giant Eagle, if you all know Giant Eagle. They have about 94 grocery stores in the Ohio area. But yeah, we're in Total Wine, Liquor Bar, and Evergreen. We're in about 700 different locations.
Wow.
I don't know how I got to be last, but I did. I promise I do have a question, but it starts with a little story. Not just somebody, she's hiding.
Well, now we all know you like to give a speech from time to time. You were not last up, we got more people, and Chris is coming back up, so hold on.
So this has to do with the gimlet. The gimlet. I'm not sure, but I have a friend who's named Jim, and he had 2 little youngsters. His 2 youngsters, they're sitting right there, and he's at a restaurant. He orders a gimlet, and his brother's sitting here, and his brother says, "Jim, it's called a gimlet, and those 2, they're your gimlets." I know it's real bad. Really bad. The question is, how do you name cocktails? How did gimlet get its name?
I didn't name them. I wish I could take credit for them, but these are classic cocktails. And that's kind of what, I was like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel here. These are beautiful cocktails, and I'm certainly, the recipe is mine, but they're just classic cocktails. So, and gimlet has been around, since scurvy days. They used to take the gin and mix it with Rose's lime. And because they did the Rose's lime to prevent scurvy. And, why not mix it with some gin to have a little more fun?
Hi, Danielle.
Hi,
Maggie. What's your big vision? Like, where do you envision this going? Like, bring us to the future. I know you think big, so I'm curious about your future.
Yeah, I'd like to make this big enough that somebody wants to buy it and pay me a bunch of money. That would be great. But honestly, I've never been into it for the money. I always joke, I'm like, I was fine being just a doctor. But to me, part of the fun of growing this business is just seeing if I can do it and seeing how far I can take it. And really going into Ohio was a big challenge for me, because building a business and trying to make it work in a state you don't live in. But really, my goal is to be a national brand. Why not?
Why not?
I'm Larry Sloan, and I am 83 years old. And about 3 years ago, there was a study sent out by the National Health, whatever it's called, National Institute of Health, about alcohol and how it causes a lot of cancers and so forth. So I cut back my drinking because I was having a lot of stomach reflux, although I still drink low alcohol or non-alcohol. You're pretty low alcohol, right? Is that 12%? No.
That's very high.
Should I just take a sip then? The question is it possible to make a non-alcoholic gin? Would it make a difference in the type of drink you make?
I mean, yes, it would. One of the reasons that it would be a little more difficult, probably nothing that I would explore for myself, is because I would have to really change as far as like putting artificial stuff in it because it's not true alcohol. And also too, I've been asked this a lot. How about you decrease your ABV? How about you do a non-alcoholic? And my answer is always the same. Like, I'm not trying, I love the non-alcoholic. I like that people drink, less ABV, but I'm not trying to be all things for all people. And so I'm just trying to stay in my lane. And this is where a lot of what I say is, why are we different? Why am I different than any other canned cocktail out there? Because there's a lot of them. And my sticking points are the same. We're gin, which is a rarity. We're all natural, completely all natural, which is also a rarity. And I'm 12%.
Yeah.
Those are my sticking points.
Thank you. Danielle,
Yes.
what came first? The distributor that agreed to distribute your cocktail or renting the facility?
Renting the facility. Because I had to have a facility. I had to have a liquor license, and you can't have a liquor license out of your home. So you have to have a physical space to get the liquor license so I could actually make the drinks myself.
That was bold.
Thank you.
That's bold.
The second reason why I wanted to be the DE check. Renee Brown, DE. You have mentioned healthcare, and you talked about walking away from healthcare, but still staying engaged. With the state of healthcare in some of our rural areas, what is some of the solutions that you see that we need to move towards?
That's an excellent question. I do think it is very challenging. So my private practice was in LaGrange, Kentucky, and so I took care of a lot of the counties, Henry County, Shelby County, Carrollton, and those communities where those people live. A lot of people say, well, Louisville's not that far, but for a lot of those people who born, raised, they don't want to come to Louisville. In fact, I've had a lot of people say, I can't go to Louisville, it's the big city. It is the big city to them. I'm getting ready to work in Winchester tomorrow, and Winchester is only 12 miles from Lexington. Those people don't want to go to Lexington. They don't want to go to Lexington. They're not comfortable being in Lexington. I'm actually going to be starting to work at a hospital in Bardstown. I've been asked to work at Glasgow. I've been asked to work in Litchfield. I've been asked to work, I just got an offer today to work in Hazard. There is such a need in some of these small towns. I do think that, especially in the world of OBGYN, the entire system's probably going to have to be changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it is very tough to get new grads to move out to these communities. And a lot of women are in my field now, and some of these communities, like in Mount Sterling, there's a gentleman there who has been the solo practitioner. He works 365 days a year, and nobody wants to do that anymore. And I respect him that he's done it, but I also understand why people don't want to do that anymore. So the whole system is, to me, needs to be changed. And I think it's going to end up being nurse practitioners, more midwives, and different levels. And then, having maybe a physician that's closer that can manage some of that. But I think to expect that anyone's going to go to a small town these days and work like that, it's just not happening anymore. And it's sad because some of these hospitals are going to get shut down. We just can't maintain this, and they can't keep trying to find traveling doctors.
Danielle Ashley Brower, what's the biggest surprise that you've had along the way?
I mean, honestly, I will say it's the community of Louisville. I mean, the network of people that I have met have been incredible. I just had no idea. In medicine, once you finish, you just kind of do your thing. And so there isn't like a community that comes together, like you all here, the Rotarians? Yes. We just don't have that type of community. So to me, to have been able to meet so many people who have dealt with the same struggles I have, or have helped to celebrate my successes, or have been able to help me when I've really struggled, that has been, to me, one of the most beautiful parts of this entire process. And I tell myself all the time, because y'all, when I started this, I had a certain number that I was going to spend. Let's just say, I am living a life I never thought I would live. I've 6x'd what I told myself I was going to spend, and I keep doing it because I'm seeing the opportunity, and so I'm willing to take the risk. But I'm like, if it all goes away tomorrow and it fails, I'll have zero regrets. Zero. Right. This has been. It has just been a real, personally, just enriching experience for me. Who I am, the way I think, my friends, everything's changed. And so maybe that's the most surprising thing right there.
I just wanted to say that Danielle was kind enough to join us, not this past summer, but the summer before at Craig Sherman's house. Who was at that event where she was giving away her cocktails for free? So yeah, I want to thank you. You have been generous in many, many ways with sharing your story and your cocktails. And I wanted to say also that I had the privilege of seeing your manufacturing space. The Network of Entrepreneurial Women hosted an event there, and I'm thinking Rotary might need to have a business synergy networking event there as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, would you be willing to host us?
Final question. Hi, Danielle. I'm Angie Bailey. So pleased to meet you. Have you considered Shark Tank?
I tried out already for it. I did. I went to Vegas and tried out for Shark Tank. It was so fun. I didn't get it. But yeah, I thought about it. Some of the different phase that I was when I first tried out. It was one of those also experiences where I thought, what else am I ever going to try out for Shark Tank? Why not? And so I flew to Vegas and I hung out with a bunch of other crazy entrepreneurs and we pitched to each other all day. It was a blast. But yeah, maybe I'll have to reconsider doing it again.
Yeah, already winning. All right. So, Danielle, thank you. This has been one of the most fun, exciting meetings. I think we've had more questions today than we've had in a really long time. So one thing we want you to know about Rotarians, we love that word, Rotary, we were founded on February 23rd, 1905 in Chicago and then Paul Harris, because he and his friends would rotate, like how we got there, different meeting locations. I did not make that up, they made that up. Okay, so what we have for you, President Ken, one of his things for his year as president, he wants to deliver what he calls a challenge coin, which I have in my hand for you, and I call it a connection coin. And you will see, President Ken never shows this to y'all. It is beautiful. It is 24 karat fake gold black enamel with Paul Harris and the rotary wheel, but on the back, so you'll never forget what we think, feel, say, and do. It's our 4-way test. So I shall pass it to you in the traditional military form. All right, here we come, down the home stretch. Next week, it is our turn to host the annual combined Thanksgiving luncheon with the Kiwanis Club and the Rotary Club of Louisville. And we're going to be right here in this very room, heads up, Tuesday, November 25th. Everybody say it together. Tuesday, November 25th. That's next Tuesday. Okay, we got that one. Everybody be here. Now, reservation link has already closed, but if you have not made a reservation and you really want to be here, just check in with with Tracy, and she'll see if she can find a way. Tracy, please put an extra chair in, because I don't want anybody turned away for next week. And then also, Tuesday is when we are going to officially kick off the long-awaited annual Battle of the Bells. Yes, those of you that have not done this with us before, this is where we ring the bell, the Salvation Army bell, on December 6th, 20th, and 13th at Holiday Manor, trying to raise more money in our red kettle buckets for Salvation Army than the Kiwanis Club does. Now, somebody told me that they always win. Where's George Brinkmeyer? Where's Lewis? Is Lewis here today? Okay, George, stand up. Okay, give George a round of applause. George has been coordinating the schedule for ringing the bell on December 6th, 13th, and 20th for as many years as you can remember. And if you don't believe me, Lori, just look at his poster board out there. It must be 35 years old. I love it. But he told me, don't worry, it works. Now, guests, we hope that you will, where's our one guest? Oh, you get the table all to yourself. And right here, Jay Mallory. Jay, you're going to connect and do What is Rotary over here at this table. Oh, no, we got other people in What is Rotary. Go over there. It'll be a blast. You'll learn everything you ever wanted to know and never thought about Rotary as what it was. And Danielle, did you introduce your guest?
No, because I'm not a Rotarian.
Well, that's okay. What is your guest's name?
This is Kelly Lurz.
Everybody say hi, Kelly. All right, now we hope you'll follow us on all the social media things. I can't even remember what they all are, but they're great, they're fabulous, they tell our story. And my favorite part of the meeting is adjourn.